So 369. Today we're talking about some standouts in Anaheim's first win yesterday against Pittsburgh. Very back and forth game where momentum shifted back and forth, and a lot of good hockey games actually last night. Outside of that, we saw there were a few really good high scoring games like the Kraken Canadians. That was just a back and forth game too. Cole Caulfield gets the OT winner there. I wouldn't say the Rangers game was necessarily fun to watch, but the Lightning Capitals game was back and forth. The Predators Maple Leafs game was back and forth, and then the final one of the night, the Penguins Ducks, was just it was constant, a lot of scoring too. And I would say the biggest standout in this game was Chris Kreider, and he had a 3-point game. He had the highest scoring of anybody on both rosters. He was just a threat on the power play. He was a threat at 5-on-5. He was a threat off the rush. It's easy to forget too with Kreider, and especially since the trade happened and whatnot, that he scored 52 goals only 4 years ago. So there's certainly potential he could get at least 35, 40 in Anaheim this year because he's got really good playmakers around him too. Not saying he didn't have that when he was with the Rangers, but he has a lot of young skill, a lot of young talent, and a lot of guys who can feed him the puck, especially in the power play. Because Anaheim has two legit power plays in terms of their first unit with Jackson Lacombe, and then they have some of the veterans, more of the veterans on that unit, and then the second it's more of the younger guys with Zellweger and Gauthier and others. But he just gels really nicely there. He's a really nice fit. He's really seamless fit, and he's been electric so far. I believe he has 3 or 4 goals to start the year, so he's on a hot streak right now. He's just continuing to get better, continuing to score. And as for the other guys in Anaheim, I think Leo Carlson has been a major weapon with him, and they've been on a line together. They played a lot together so far at 5-on-5 and even the power play. And Leo's been feeding him the puck. He's just been feeding him the puck constantly. And Ryder score. Knows where to score. He knows how to score. He knows how to get to the net. He knows how to get inside defenders and be able to avoid the box outs from defenders. So he's really skilled and so really skilled at being able to find those soft areas and being able to take advantage of them. And you don't usually see too many players who have that elite instinct to just naturally do it. Ryder's one of those. So still got it. He can still score, and just very exciting to watch. This Anaheim team as a whole, very fun to watch. They get a good mix of veterans and young guys in the mix, and you add guys like Mikhail Granlund and then Kreider and then some other guys in that mix as well. And along with your veterans that you have in the back end with Truba and Gudis and even Jackson Lacombe, you consider a veteran of sorts just in the way he plays. And yeah, just some other guys in that mix too. Like they have a good crop there, and this is a team that potentially could be over 500 for the majority of the year. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it because they have a lot of guys who could just take off. Like Jackson Lacombe, we could see another version of him this year. We could see Carter Gauthier continue to improve. Even Pavel Mintyukov, who had sort of a down season last year, not really though, not too much of a down year, but we could see him continue to improve. We could see Mikael Graham thrive in their system and eclipse 60 or 70 points. Back Senecas look really good in their top nine so far. So they have guys who can score inside the top nine and even in their bottom slash middle six area who can produce offensively and they have some weapons there. They end up winning the game 4-3, but Pittsburgh made a nice pushback too. And outside of the Crosby and the Malkins, like those guys have been playing the way they normally have. Malkin's been playing even better somehow this year. I don't know if that's going to cool off at some point, but he's been playing unbelievable. I would say for Pittsburgh's side, and in terms of guys that stood out, look, Justin Brazeau was just looked great once again. Anthony Mantha got his first career goal as a Penguin, and Ricardo Carroll scored against his former team in Anaheim. It was his first time he scored against Anaheim ever, and he looked great. Brian Russ looked awesome. Brian Russ has been key for them ever since coming back in the lineup and dealing with a nagging injury that prevented him from playing the first handful of games of the season. Now he's just eclipsed that. He's looked really good to kickstart the year. And Ryan Shea's been a guy who's been talked about a lot, and I've heard about it a lot on Spitting Chicklets too, where he's a calm puck moving defenseman who can and quick up plays, not flashy or anything, but he just plays a simplistic approach. And sometimes that gets you out of trouble, right? Because you get guys, and there's at least one or two, usually one on every team where they play such a simplistic style of game. And as a puck moving defenseman, and Ryan Shea's that guy in Pittsburgh where mean, not a ton of flash, not a ton of flair, nothing like that, but he's going to move the puck up ice. He's going to outlet passes up on breakouts. He's going to sometimes carry the rush. He's going to spin out of pressure with his feet. So he has some instincts that can allow him to get out of trouble and use that escapability factor. So that's an asset of his that he's used quite effectively to start the year. And he's been noticeable. He's been popping a little bit here and there. So nice to see some of the younger guys in Pittsburgh be able to contribute and be able to not only get some points up, but help them get some wins so far too.